Good day to you, my friends. I'm Kenneth and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a new gameplay preview on a new indie game that's coming out from a single developer. This is Existence: The Outer Reach. This is going to be an RTS game that is in space, as you can see from the spaceship here, but also on the planets as well. That'll be key for expansion of your areas because you'll need to take over each planet if you want to claim that area. So we can quickly jump in. I'm going to skip the tutorial because, well, it's boring. You're not here to see a tutorial, you want to see the gameplay. You've got small and you've got large galaxies. Game loads really quickly and kicks you straight off onto your starting planet here. One thing to point out, you don't automatically play as humans. No, we've got these cool little alien creatures with a weird design head. Looks really alien, but they're still humanoid, which is pretty cool. Now, pretty standard RTS features. We've got to put down a command center, so we'll get that building, and we've got other things we can build as well, which I'll show you in just a moment. If we zoom out, you can zoom out far enough to where you are now looking at the whole little gameplay area we have here with a ton of different planets and also asteroids. We can zoom in here. There's just a big asteroid that you can mine later on here, but there's this one. This one's an actual planet, and you can see the different bits and pieces that the planet has on the left-hand side. All of these things take into account what you can do on that planet, what type of creatures you can get, what type of workers you can get, and wildlife and ores and all the good stuff. But if we head back in, we can see here this is our play area, and it's pretty standard fare, and we've got a little bit of 3D motion on the camera here. All of this is basically not used right now because there's no real reason to build outside of this area. But you got a similar starting areas. The map is kind of mirrored with more resources over here, which you will expand to. But we are going to kick this off with a bit of a farm here, and then we've also got the mining unit that we can pop there, and we get a mech factory up and running too. And once these are all built, I can show you what we can do with them. So as you can see here, this building just looks normal. These two, however, do have these small squares indicating they need workers. Now our little guys here that we started with, which you can move around as per normal RTS, they are little grunts basically, and they do have a gun so they can fight, but their primary focus is as workers. As you can see, once we assign these to the building, just right clicking here, we will start production on these buildings. Now we're getting positive food. Basically, you got this little timer here that it ticks through, and each cycle you will get plus or minus the amount of resources you're creating or using. The other purpose of these guys is to mine wood or harvest wood, which is your basic resource for building these rather metal and concrete looking buildings, which is kind of funny. So as you progress through, you'll unlock more buildings, obviously more technology, which is all hunky-dory. I'll show you a bit of that later on a different save. In here, we've got where you build your troops. Now, you can also build tanks in here later on, which I'll show you in just a bit. Now, the cool thing about this is that you can customize things. So you can customize the weapons they've got here. Now, the combat bot we've got here, the upgrades are free. So you're free to choose what it comes with, which is like the 40 range, 2 damage, 1 shot. This one's slightly less range, but exact same damage and fiery. And then you've got a faster firing one here, which does a little bit less damage too. So that's pretty cool. So you can set up a mixed group of different things on your combat units, and then you get the cost in the left, and if you build a bunch then they'll pop up down here. So same in space, when you finally get enough you can build a space station, so you can plop that down. These all build the same way. You get this wireframe that slowly builds up while the timer counts down. Once you've got the space station in place, you can start building a shipyard and do exactly the same process with ships. So let me switch to a different save and I'll quickly show you that. So this is a save on the smaller map, so just give you an idea on how big that is. I've pretty much taken over everything that I want, and there's just one planet left to destroy. And I think I started on this planet. As you can see here, we've got our shipbuilding shipyard. We've got mining stations available and biospheres that we can make food in orbit. So for the ships look pretty cool as well. You can rotate around these the exact same way you can on the planet. And you can see these have got a lot more equipment that you can add on to these. Now this is the basic ship, so it doesn't really come with much, although I'd love to see a bit more added here. but we've got passenger transports, which are a lot bigger. Got options for shield generators there. We've got the Razor, which is a really, really good and effective combat unit that can either have missiles or pulse cannons. And the standard shield generator there. You've got cargo ships used for hauling stuff between all your planets and different systems, which is really cool. We zoom out here and go to the planet itself. We've got, no, this wasn't my start planet, but you can see here that we've got a wildlife center. So each planet has its own wildlife kind of biosphere, and you can kind of get these as melee units. They're cheap, they're easy, they've got low cost to upkeep, so you can use a whole bunch of those. The tech centers have multiple levels of research, so we've got a tech tree over here, so you can start researching all these things, and you need the tech labs of each level to research those, and then finally upgrade to these. Buildings can be upgraded in situ as well, so I think these are all basic farms. There is a upgrade to go to the bigger farm, which I have, but I don't have the resources for on this planet. So you can upgrade those. I don't think you can upgrade the miners though. The miners do have to be placed separately, but they are the same cost, so you don't have to worry about that. So out of the different resources, we've got iron, we've got copper, we've got titanium, I think, on other planets. Let's see, this one. This planet had platinum as well. So yeah, there's I think 4, maybe 5 resources if you count the trees in the game so far. It's pretty bare bones. The ground combat is pretty much as you would expect. Same for space combat. Super basic stuff. You can see if you zoom in far enough, you've got ships. You can see them shooting when they're having combat, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do here is show you what it's like to attack a planet. So I have nothing on this planet, and we can see that they've got units. You kind of got full radar coverage of the planets. You know where stuff is. You just don't know what it is. So I'm going to take my units that I have available here, which would be a hell of a lot easier, since this is an early alpha of this point. It's missing a few bits, like a scroll on the amount of ships. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly get all these ships out of system, except for the transport ships, which are waiting over here, I believe. Yes. So let's get all of these, and we're going to take them over to here. So these guys are going to receive that order. They're all going to start rushing off, and we're going to skip to when we can actually attack. So there we go. It's a lot easier to find the ships now, so I can go to deploy, and I've got a bunch of different tanks here. So I'm just going to chuck these tanks in. These have got different equipment. I'm going to go deploy, and it's going to ask me where I want to deploy them. I'm going to slap them right here, right next to everything, and they immediately beam down, and you start having a little war between all your units, which is pretty cool. Lots of explosions going on. The AI isn't terribly great. Basically just moves to in range. There's no things that you would expect from, say, Beyond All Reason, where you can line them up. There's not a huge variety in units, but these guys will just bomb this away until there's nothing left, and then you will have to go find out the other units lying around there. But I'm going to quickly go back over here just to quickly show you the tank area. Maybe it was this one I started on. There we go. This is my first base. So if we go in here, we've got the different options. You can get worker bots later on, and we got 2 different tanks, light and medium tanks. Medium tanks have 2 modules, so you can get a shield on there. And then you've got the gun, you've got artillery or normal gun, which is super cool. The light tank only has the gun options of either artillery or gun. And yeah, this basically, that's all the game has right now. I did say it was super basic. Didn't want to show it off like a full kind of playthrough of like starting up from the beginning, because I don't think it does the game too much justice to show it too much at this early stage. But I do like helping out indie developers, especially those that are just like single devs. If I've got time to like quickly showcase the stuff like this, I think it's worth a shot, just to show people that the game's out there, and you can jump on their Discord and maybe ask to give them a hand, get a key, provide some feedback, provide some testing, because these guys, they really don't have a lot of resources to outsource these things. So the help of the community does go a long way. So yeah, if it's not your cup of tea to help in testing, don't worry. I do think it's one to keep an eye out on the future, because I love the games that you can do this whole on the ground and in space thing. I think it's really cool. You're not just limited to, oh, attack this planet and it just runs the numbers on whether you win or not. You've actually got units that you can run around, position, shoot stuff with. So as we just finish off these final units that we're just harvesting these trees here, this should render the planet completely dead in terms of the enemy AI, leaving me pretty much alone in the universe and having won. Unfortunately, there isn't like an actual win for this, so there are no enemy NPCs left, but the game goes on. So that's how early this game is right now. But yeah, definitely do check it out, because I think it's worth a look. All the links, of course, will be in the description below, so don't hesitate. Go have a little look, see, maybe add it to a wish list, join the Discord, and I'll happily see you in the next one. Let me know if this piqued your interest. Kenator, out.